All right. So, you know, ugh, y'all, like really. We're talking about border issues, which again is just the flood. It's another flood. It was promised not to be another flood, supposedly, right? But this is just a flood. We were just talking about that reading that we were doing in the Pearl and the uh, the the Kibra, and like I was saying, in that part where it said it was sticking on my mind after I finished the video about aren't you of the same people, right? Those same people, and that's what I was thinking about. Like we keep talking on here, there's the holy group, and those are the ones that are grafted in. There are those that are organically spiritual and have certain gifts that has been given to them by God, the universe, whatever. And then there's the other ones that is the, again, I feel artificially inseminated version. The ones that are holy are going to catch strife in hell. The ones that are genetically modified are going to be able to proceed. Okay, so the thing we have to realize when we're talking about this, it always goes back to the root of things. It always go back to the beginning. You always got to go back. You can't just not go back. And this is why I feel that this whole thing about the story is being targeted as being radical in a sense, because it is speaking the truth that anyone can see once you look at it for what it is. This is what I'm saying about indoctrination within education of the nations for generations. So then I went on into, and like I said, that's just how I look at it. There's going to be the righteous, and then there's going to be the reckless. Society might paint me as reckless, you know what I'm saying? And someone else as righteous. That's why you have to know yourself and have that connection with source. Because really, these people here can't judge you. That's what I say about people. That's their free will. That's for a higher power at a certain time to handle what's going to be done to be. You know what I'm saying? We have things that we need to be focusing on here right now that have to do with people's life and livelihood, the future of the children. And it's just so repetitive, the things that we talk about. It's like, people are asking for people to speak out, and yes, more people speaking out, but like you're speaking to yourself, because again, it seems as though the people that are supposed to be making the changes and listening aren't listening. And then it just makes me think maybe those aren't the proper, people in those particular positions. Or maybe they are for another agenda for different entities or energies that are here on this plane. And this text right here about the biblical text is going to use the terms like foreign and alien. It's not my choice to use these words. This is how they were written. So we should just really, again, I'm never here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm simply sharing what it looks like to me. And, we could just weigh in and look at past, present, what we see may be occurring in the future. Some things that some people sense and see, some things that you might be interpreting or reading between headlines or lines to obtain this information. But, just because you have been given a perception of something as far as servitude or slavery with chains and whips, and you have these showcases that are put on to invoke anger and emotion and things like that with people, or else they would not even they would not waste their time showing something like that on the media, especially if they don't have all the facts. And if it was what it was, you see what I'm saying? There's still things that need to be addressed. That that whole spectacle was what took all of the attention off of everything else that should have been being focused. And now we're weeks past and nobody's talking. Do you see what I'm saying? How dealing with it, you know what I'm saying, using discernment, common sense, wisdom, knowledge obtained. Things move so quickly. And who knows if, well, actually, there's some people that are lingering, still speaking on this matter, but and it's so funny because I do see an anti-Israel energy with the people that are allowing this to happen. Just like the same as the people that allowed the people to be left behind those lines. Some of these special visas and these special things, like it's getting me this energy. I was just reading something else here too. It's giving me this energy of this whole Jesus or Christ energy. It's giving this energy as to some of these people are coming in, Lord knows that there's another reason why these people are coming here. And I see like defilement in a sense. And even if it's not physical or sexual or even if it's not, I would like to look at the numbers of rape and missing girls and things like that. But, it's like I don't know. So just because you're not going to perceive it and we're not going to see any chains and everything doesn't mean that people are not going into servitude right now. And just because your ancestors were into something doesn't mean that people are into it now. So the whole thing about, dealing with the sins of the father, whose idea was that? Was that the idea of the people that didn't want to give the land back to the rightful owners, and so they decided to come up with something 60 years, 70, 100 years ago, to make sure, to ensure that, again, that would not happen? Like, we just really have to ask ourselves these questions. Who? Who said that? And if we go back to that and we realize that someone could look at a form of slavery when it comes to foreign entities that came upon the shores and met with the first Americans here and were taken in, but treated like, we can look at the old caste or class system of the pharaohs. They still were treated the same as all the rest of the lowly people. But then you have the Hindu or Indian culture of the caste and the people at the bottom, which just so happens to be darker skinned people over in India now, right? Excuse me. But again, we know there was a version of India Superior here in the Americas, connected to even Lake Superior in a sense, right? So, we're walking somewhere here, okay? Darker skin, we say that, right, just to put an example on it. But again, here it's going to be the older groups, the actual old groups of the Americas, of the old world. Not the ones that were grafted in, not the alien foreign people that came in, but the old blood, the originals, in a sense. Even, we don't see the harm really, besides if someone want to say it was a trick or something. We don't see that depth of the horrible things that certain gods did in the Bible to people when it comes to the serpent. But the serpent, in the beginning, they made sure to make that serpent into something that is hideous, right? But we know that we dealing with like Quetzalcoatl. We know we're dealing with the South American energy when we come to the Nagas and the pyramids and things that are found here in the Americas. I think the rattlesnake, is it the rattlesnake that originated in the Americas? all of the imagery of reptilian energy when it comes to the ancient and antiquity images of the darker view people that were here prior to colonization, prior to Genesis. Because it's at that stock in those breeds that they use to populate this plane here. And that's all we just really kind of need to know that. Because most of so-called slavery was about that breeding. I'll just keep saying it over and over again. So again, to look at that timeline and look at the things that happened then, and then kind of like take yourself and look at what's going on now. Right? Is it what it is, or is it something under the guise of? The Bible contains many references, because I'm just wondering, just if we could just look at the general legit things. Some of the gifts or things that are being given to those who are coming in rapidly. And then and then do they have to be held to the same customs as us when it comes to the prick, when it comes to what you have to go through to get some type of loan or some type of financial aid when it comes to schooling and things like this, things that for centuries we could have been giving more easily to those people in these underpoverished neighborhoods, is what I look at it like. And this is not nothing new. We have been sporadically sprinkling and bringing in people from other nations and putting them in high-ranking positions as surgeons, doctors, and things like this, which there's nothing wrong with it. But what I'm saying is, we're talking about the king energy again. What was it? The burning house he was afraid of, right? And then also, what was he afraid of? Or what was he talking about? People coming back to get something, a check possibly, right? And then he also, these are the harsh things, not I have a dream, okay, that you were perpetually indoctrinated with every single time Martin Luther King Day came around throughout the, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? It's not, most of us didn't hear about the real stuff he was saying right prior to his death until we were older. But when he was talking about they're bringing in all these people to give them the land, to do this with the land, not only that, pay them for the land, send them to school, do all these other things. What do you think that's going on when there's 190 or 160,000, people coming into, where is the cap? Even if there is something where you have to take a certain amount of people because of whatever, and things like this, where is the cap then? And how well have the people have been vetted? And who's making the decision as to they can come in? Other places, or is it us? Because I feel like, again, it's already an overwhelming situation for Americans because they're losing their jobs. Some people don't want to comply and they're losing their jobs. Some people lost their jobs and didn't get them back. Some people lost their businesses and they don't get them back after they reopen, right? Many people are asphyxiated and stuck on these payments and payouts and things that they've had over time. Whether it be, on financial aid, like food stamps or something like that, or even if we're talking about these things that have been given out over this time and unemployment and things like that. So again, they're complaining that the Americans don't want to take the jobs that are paying $7, $8, $9 an hour, but Americans need at least about 15 to even really be on the playing field to even really actually live and survive and provide. So again, since that's not the case, you will go on this thing that may lead to some type of sense of servitude to a system or a construct, and the people that's coming in over you, okay, that are being given these, endowed with these gifts, it's going to be another situation of overseeing. And we have to realize we've already went into this on the so-called dark skin on dark skin slave narrative. We've gone into detail as to who was doing the whipping at the post. And it always wasn't people that you think looked like they showed you in a couple of images. Who's being benefited by these underhand things that this administration is doing. But at the top, it looks like we're trying to help, but at the bottom, whoever's doing all this other stuff, you know, allegedly, right? It seems like it's fitting the narrative of the newcomers, only just to keep Israel or keep those at bay and on hold while this whole thing is occurring. Distracted, love bomb, breadcrumb. Now, again, I feel like some of us have another calling, a higher calling. And my thing is, it would be a shame for those particular people to end up in some situations when you have a higher calling, because, again, your top spot that you should be ordained or have the position that you've been put in because of the force and the might and the manipulation to be force people to go back into something that source came here to free them from. And obstacles and things like that. And of course, nobody expects anything to be easy, but I'm just saying, like, to what extent? And again, it's that whole, why have to fight so, you know what I'm saying? It don't seem like everybody else is fighting this hard. Why do I have to fight this hard? You know, and then doing it freely as well. Without asking for anything in return, but for people to take the squeeze off of my channel so it can flourish like everybody else's, and people can, you know, come and support the channel if they want to or not. But that, you know, if we don't really pay attention, then again, that's over, right? So it said the Bible contains many references to slavery, which was a common practice in antiquity. And let's just not even, because again, it's still a system of it or a sense of it now, which was a common practice in antiquity. Biblical texts outline sources and legal status of slaves, economic roles of slavery, types of slavery, and debt slavery. So the debt slavery made me think about the debt ceiling. And again, I'm not all well versed in these things. I think people are asking for some type of rebuttal or some kind of response or something. But again, to throw the weight of these things on people that are not even actually even connected to the house right now, right? You know what I'm saying? Or are they? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Are people handling jobs that they're not getting paid for? Are people handling positions, you know what I'm saying, that they don't even know and that they're not aware that they are? So that we can convince the people that they're not, you know what I'm saying? So you can get disapproval ratings, or, you know, to convince the people that this person doesn't know what they're doing. You know, like, I'm just saying, I don't know who gets a job and doesn't get them. I'm just looking within, and this is what the energy is telling me to question or look into. Or are some of us just doing this because it's a form of slavery to pay back some form of debt? And if it's a debt, what kind of debt? Was I supposed to have to pay that debt in the first place or not? Or did someone else decide that that's a debt that has to be paid? Which also brings me to the conservatorship energy. So raising a debt ceiling, what is that going to do? Is that going to allow these people that may be crooked in an instance in some of these positions of power right now, political and other, to get, it's like greed, like they just want more. So there's nothing left. And then on top of that, there's triple debt that are going to be left for generation after generation. Is this the same damn thing over and over again? Is it America's turn just to roll up their sleeves and just deal with what we got to deal with what we have? Or do we go, because where is it? I mean, if there's been a crash or something, an economic crash, really low key, where is the money coming from? Because then again, I think I was reading or watching the documentary a while back about like the indebted debt from like different places, different places back in the day. Do we need that again? Is that going to get us into another cycle of perpetual slavery? Is that what the Bible was saying about warning against not going back into another form of slavery? is taking the hands out from these governing forces. They know they can raise the minimum wage easy. People will run out. I'm not even in no kind of industry or economics like that, but I guarantee if the pay was up, then the people would take it. So it's not about that then. It's not about that then. Because what they're going to pay for these people to go to school and their children also to get this free daycare. Because again, there cannot be nothing done for Israel, right? Or the originals without including other groups every single time. Even when it's time for you to get your check, it's still going to be used to benefit the bringing in of new while you're dying out. Why is that? Why is that? Do you ask yourself, why is that? Why are we reconstructing many things? Why don't we just reconstruct the lower end of the spectrum here when it comes to the poor, so-called, and middle class, actually, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whoever. Poverty, especially now, it doesn't have a color to it. It is what it is. Are we robbing the poor to feed the rich, or are we robbing the rich to feed the poor? Nottingham. Okay. So which thoroughly explains the institution of slavery in Israel in antiquity. The Bible stipulates the testament of slaves, especially the Old Testament. Again, that's dealing with the old world, especially here in the Americas. There are also references to slavery in the New Testament. Many of the patriarchs portrayed in the Bible were from the upper echelon. Again, I feel like that has something to do with, again, I mean, I know what it probably means, but again, it's giving me direction to say something about north. Well, damn, even upper echelon, I don't know, it gives me some kind of something about mental status as well sometimes, right? But again, we could be talking about upper regions, okay? Oh, even like the dome, even. You see what I'm saying? Of society and the owners of slaves and enslaved, though, because again, chains are on the brain. Those are the ones that we're trying to free, or we have been trying to free us from. It's the most valuable ones to release, or most important anyway. Okay? Of society and the owners of the slaves and enslaved those in debt to them. So again, enslave those indebted to them. So I don't know, indebted to, I don't know why I get like a veteran energy there. Right? Because, like when you say like indebted to them, like even, that makes me think about even, I think like when this first was happening and they were saying that is it Al-Qaeda or the Taliban were saying that they were going to keep some people or something like that, but they wouldn't be harmed or something. It was some kind of energy like this that they were saying. They had their first conference or whatever that they had, that they planned on keeping something that was, and it makes me think about tabernacle or the Ark of Covenant. It makes me, or just a very important vassal to a God, So then it brought me back to the whole behind enemy lines energy. All right. Okay, those in debt to them. Okay, so again, it's almost like just that whole kind of people that are tied in with these same bloodlines, but they had the one up, right? They were speaking what these other nations want to hear when it comes to what they need from the Americas, right? Pliable in a sense, right? Of that grafted in version, right? Where the originals, again, they're always thrown under. And is that the act of that God within you? That's something that we're waking up right now? Or is that God's on this plane that chose your destiny for you? And because you don't know you, You can't see what's true. So are these people, again, going to be set up to be over you in a sense, overseers? And this is just questions that we just looking at. Again, it may not be at the same level or scale, but doesn't matter, because you rarely see anybody besides Mexico, which is, again, those people, that's a special subgroup of people that were created here in the Americas with a mixture of who was coming in. But you never really see in and I'm just saying within the Milwaukee region, Chicago, even Texas. I mean, places that I visited, you rarely see. I mean, maybe Florida might be something different. You don't see these particular people that are of darker hue that speak a different language than you in the same neighborhoods as you. Now, there's a lot of cultural differences and things like that as well, right? But they also don't look at you the same either. It is a fact. Studies can be done because I know I can see it. I mean, it's just like, this is what I do. I observe. I've just always been that way. So it's not even the really, it's that. Right? Because the people are just trying to get or do whatever and get, people are doing what you allow them to do. So that's what they just like, hey. So it's not even the little people's fault. They should not be attacked or anything. I'm just saying, it's just the way that it happens. There's always some kind of above that is creating this situation. So if we get mad at the very people that's coming in and try to do something to harm them or speak rudely to them or not give them hospitality, that's wrong. It's just what's right and what's wrong. It is what it is, what it is. So for you to treat them some kind of way in an ill manner is not cool. What you would need to do is everybody would need to target their focus to where we think we can actually get the answers and get something done. Okay. Of society and owners of slaves, okay? Concubine, okay, so again, and enslaved those in debt to them, right? So again, look at this. This says upper echelons of society and owners of slaves. So this don't even say that this is God's doing. This is just saying patriarchs portrayed in the Bible about the upper echelon and enslaving, and that these people put these people in slavery, and bought their fellow citizens and daughters as concubines. It kind of makes the whole divine connection, if it's not of a holy or another degree, scary. And perpetually enslave foreign men to work on their fields. So they enslave foreign men to work on their fields. What's that cookie brand? Miss Fields? What is it, red and white checker? I think it used to be. Because, I guess they are telling these people that there's certain protocol. Doesn't mean that they're following it. Doesn't mean that are they receiving some kind of chip? Are they receiving some kind of, antidote when they come here? Are they all receiving the test? Are they all if they don't get the thing, are they going to lose their jobs? So on and so forth, so on and so forth. Masters were men, okay? And it is not evident that women are able to own slaves until the Elephantine papyri. Now, I don't know what's that. I mean, I thought that had something to do with like Roman something. I don't know, okay? But again, it makes me think maybe possibly, I don't know why I'm even seeing like a Republican kind of energy here. I don't know. Because then who are women, right? Who are women? Are we talking about the Slavic, which that's what slave actually means, the lighter version of a slave that came into the that borders prior to, right? And after, when it comes to some of our ancestors, even that are our ancestors, yes, that mixed in with our that cleave to our family lines to some extent, and yeah, the things always benefit them, and the things that benefit these people or that portion of the families were the things that could carry them on generation by generation to create generational war wealth, while the genocide and paper genocide and all that energy went to, again, the people. So it's funny how we went through this whole particular flu thing, right? And then it was supposed to be so like severe and everything, but it really was just severe for the economy, the people, the families, the jobs, the small business, the middle class, and I mean also the rich too. There's some suffrage everywhere, but I'm just saying, how does that make sense to then bring new people into the land? And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be. I think it is somewhat prophetic, but I'm just saying, which God? Wouldn't it be funny if some energy wanted to then turn this into more of a melting pot, or that would turn into then a third world? Just not even because of the color, the race, or creed of the people, but because of the systematic things that are being put in place. Are we ready to do this whole thing 30 years ago? Are you for your children? All right. All right. Again, so, I mean, a concubine can be occurred by what? Kidnapping, permission from dire situations. Also, women that were dethroned or overthrown as rulers, and now put in a position where there's another foreign entity that's a feminine energy that would be over her when she is the rightful queen or empress or whatever in that region or of the regions. That would be a smack in the face, especially for people that are actually dedicated and don't ask for anything and actually put the work in and do this thing and have this connection, right? But again, that is the power that's within you that wants to be, that they want to shelter, want to conceal, and have control over, so they can access it whenever they want, but it doesn't benefit you. So it'll look like you just were ignorant and you were foolish, but you're battling up against something that's a giant. That's, what I'm saying. It's just something that, again, something that planned this long time ago, and unfortunately, okay. Okay, masters, okay, let's see, and perpetually enslaved foreign men to work on their fields. Masters were men. And it is not evident that women were able to own slaves until the Elephantine, and that's what I think I was saying. So again, are the women representing the foreign energies that are here that have some type of one up on the actual American people to make sure that the actual American people never achieve or get back what's theirs, right? Or are the women talking about an actual woman, a female, or whatever you want to say? Okay, so again, that's like the people that's coming in owning slaves. Do you get what I'm saying? You get the thing, what I'm saying? They will have no regard for the old or the what. Because a lot of these people, even if they come from a place that's not the same as America, they look at the American so-called Negro, the American Indian of darker hue, as lazy, as this and that and that. No culture, no this, no that. Especially when you didn't know who you were. and you were calling out to another land to honor instead of the one that's right underneath your feet. That does something to somebody spiritually. It was necessary for those who owned slaves, especially in large numbers. Again, what is a tribe? Because we did something deep on tribes and clans and nations and all that type of building. Who put that in place? Was that your people or was that somebody else? Tribal, do you get what I'm saying? Sometimes we think we know and we have no idea. Sometimes we think we know people and we have no idea. When people make it a point to slander other people for no reason, pay attention. And the other person is not even nowhere around to defend themselves and people are okay with that, pay attention. To be wealthy because the master had to pay taxes for Jewish and non-Jewish slaves because they were considered part of the family unit. This just makes me think about conservatorship energy. Again, chieftain and chieftesses that are reaping in the benefits. And they just stop there. Or maybe like a little charity spill here and there, and that's really it. There's really no... Right. Okay. All right. That's why I say I'll just keep focusing on this as long as I can, even though I feel like they're on the verge of trying to cut it off if they haven't already. All right. So again, or a tribe or a group. Let's just say what it is. Family unit, that's a tribe or a group. Okay? The slaves were seen as an important part of the family reputation, especially the Hellenistic. Again, we're talking again, this has something to do with my ancestry, I feel. In Roman times, when the slave companions for a woman were seen as a manifestation and protection of the woman's honor. Manifest destiny, anyone? Again, of the woman. Who is the woman? Is it the woman that's on the beast with the gold cup? What's the woman? What's the woman? Protection for the foreign energies that they are already knowing are going to go into positions of this and obtain land and obtain these titles and deeds and rights and trusts. Especially of those that are the originals that are dropping dead from all these other things and stress and can't pay their bills, and they may even be giving service to people and not even getting compensated for it. So again, that's a way to keep someone broke, but then laugh at the fact that they are. But again, you know exactly why they are. So it's just like funny to me. Or just it goes back into that thing like Pac said, like, how can these people be eating like this and doing this or whatever? And then, but I'm saying that only to say, because I feel like there is some kind of secret society of workers here on this plane right now that are working jobs some kind of way in some type of different industries, unknown because of the surveilling that's going on. But you not really getting paid though. You just, because you in that situation, you just gonna be, that's the kind of servitude. And it also does defile actually women that would go on to be patriarchal or matriarchal energies within the system, to go ahead and crucify any kind of chance that you may have to, marry or commune or connect with these things. And the thing is, a lot of these are women that are in these positions, the women that, maybe they don't have children or something. I don't know, like, because, when it comes to like the working, remember that Baby Boom movie? how they did her because she was like a woman and she was having a baby. You see, so most likely it's gonna be people that can't or whatever. But or barren women or women that just are older, maybe didn't even have never a child, so they really don't maybe harness that kind of energy of how people would feel about that. And then some people, just for money or gain or any kind of thing, position, power, again, a lot of people are after certain things. My thing is like being on my path, it is a sense of going up to a place when it has something to do with authority or power or something to change things. You can't change things down here. So again, that's what I'm saying. It's like game recognizing game. You know what I'm saying? Because again, if you can't get those true righteous people in those positions, then we'll never get out of this. It will never ever happen, and it will be a repeat of what the hell happened. And again, the people that laughed at this group being picked on, it'll go to that group, and the pump, it'll just get bigger and bigger until nobody's able to do anything. I'm just telling you. All right? Because that big fish, it just keeps. People are afraid of change and they don't like the truth. As time progressed, domestic slavery became more prominent, and domestic slaves usually work because it would have been like 60 something days since these people have been left behind these lines. And again, everything is not, the eyes can't see everything, but they can sense and know. All right. Usually work as an assistant to the wife of a patriarch. So again, the same thing. Like I just said, this is the enslavement of those who are real royal. It's over again. Period. This is what I feel. That's why the attack is on the people that are speaking these things and can't be contained. They can't be bought out or manipulated. They want to just speak the truth. They want to free the people. Okay, be careful of those that challenge those particular people by opening up the mind's eye, or again, of the people. But again, they feel like because they have a lot of movement or because they're doing these particular things that it is. And I'm not knocking either way. What I'm saying is, again, each his own is basically it. Because everybody wasn't meant to be some certain kind of way. Me, I plan on doing all of the above, right? One day, okay? So again, yeah. So again, they would work as assistants to the wife, allowed larger houses to run more smoothly and efficiently. And that's what I'm saying there. The people that's actually getting down and getting the stuff out the mud, apologies, are the ones that are doing it, what they call it, pro bono. Is that what it is? Or for free? And it's okay, right? Because again, my gain, like I said, I had to train myself to see the gain is something else for me. And I don't want to be one of those people that, I know there's a line that has to be drawn as to what happened again then too, right? I don't want to be one of those people that's just stuck on just that energy alone. When I see everything else is going in the other direction and say, I'm focusing on God, when I know again that connection is within me, and it may be something that I need to tighten up or something I need to do, because it's something that you have to genuinely be working on in order to have that type of faith. And then how much of it is legit, right? And how much of it is directed by some type of signal or something. So again, I'm not trying to tell you to be stupid. I'm not trying to tell you not to be to be naive or not to, get it, right? All right. But what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these people don't know the struggle because, again, they've always had these, at least a silver spoon in their mouths. And then, again, they're reaping the benefits of the other things that were taken in the past. And so it's just the same thing, like I said, over and over again. And again, it's like that whole thing is like, oh, I got mine, cool. You know what I'm saying? And some people just can't even move until they see that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. So it's just a different thing. Which, sometimes you got to worry about yourself, and then you got to make those moves also to go. You know, it's a situation here, because then again, me doing certain things that I don't feel comfortable with or that I don't want to do to move into a certain position, right? When I know that I'm going to be able to do bigger things. Me realizing that other people are going to possibly use little parts of information or gain something from this channel, fine. I'm talking about, when I complain, I'm talking about individuals that have been built. It's almost like that Gemini movie, that have been built to, again, be my. Now, again, if we are going into a different place here and I'm just leaving all that behind, okay, right? When I see that, right, at least that movement or that action or that something towards something else, you know what I'm saying? Okay, but if not, then that makes you just feel like it even though you might have the spirit, your spirit might be big, it kind of starts making you feel a little insecure to a certain extent, because you see that they're building these beings that are going to take your spot, but then again, they won't need you anymore. So then again, are you going to be left behind enemy lines again? And then that's just it. Everything that you had, all your essence is ripped and stripped from you, and then now you're just a product of some type of environment. And that's what I'm saying about fighting for that particular right, especially someone like me that has been given so much, but again, strategically has been, again, misplaced. And again, set aside. I think also some things that Source is doing to set aside, but I also think that society had already made a choice. And the reason why Source is doing what they're doing, right, or the Elohim, is because of what has been done. And I think that's the workings why it's so intense with me in that realm, rather than this one. Does that mean, though, also when someone becomes unimportant, that people can come in and actually exercise some type of power over them people and take and remove them or use them for some type of stuff? Do you see what I'm saying? So again, it is about your rights. All of it is about it. It's not even really discrimination amongst the people when I talk, the way I talk. I'm looking at the root of things, how they're going so far, how they've gone in the past, how the future looks, right? What the words say. Everybody should, and most people have had a Bible at least. I mean, they had the dollar store and everything. So I'm just saying, everybody got that book, and then again, this is the second tool that you need. So in the 19th century in the U.S., abolitionists and defenders of slavery, debated. So again, who are the defenders of slavery? Are those people that want to get that Trojan horse through? Who are the abolitionists? The ones that want to get rid of it? Who are they? What color were they then, and what color now? Multi. So it just, do you see what I'm saying? How much sense it makes, right? Okay. Debated the Bible message on the topic. Abolitionists used the text for both the Old Testament and New Testament to argue the manumission of slavery against the kidnapping or stealing of men to own or sell them as slaves. Again, you could say what you want, but trafficking is real. It may not be called what it's called here, but trafficking is real. All right. So again, Jesus healed the ill slave, restored the cut off ear of the high priestess slave. It's almost like the hearing aid kind of energy that I feel that's going on around here. Oh, dang, it was still recording. Okay, my fault. Somebody about to start cutting the grass. But, let's see. I think I'll put one thing. Excuse me. Parable of the unmerciful servant. Again, I don't know. I'm gonna put the link to this thing here. Because again, remember the scripture in here that says to the servants that they need to obey their earthly masters. You're not realizing that, what is that? Is that the origines that are supposed to be in charge, and that these other people are supposed to be following your lead and under your rule? But again, because of you might be of royal descent, just like as well as some of them, it's just really lack of knowledge and understanding that this is some foreign shit that got you in the situation that you in. And now we won't be worried about who's so-called white and black. You understand? Like I've been telling you from the beginning, I've never been racist or push one narrative over the other. I've always been fair and balanced with what I say and real. You're going to wish, you see what I'm saying? That you didn't get in your feelings and didn't realize what the whole thing was. Yeah, we brought awareness to who you are so that you can have some kind of might, some kind of fight in you to fight for what is due. But at the same time, the feeling, doing that healing, right, and actually realizing what's going on a larger scale than just color, you would have been able to be a nation that wasn't really that divided. I told y'all before, it would take the whole nation. It would not be a movement. But the people that's in their feelings, they got you in your feelings, they got you in this situation, they were screaming that whatever made you feel like you was fighting for something, that whole supremacy energy. That once you wrap your head around it, yes, we can see. But again, nobody should have stopped there. Because what if you found out the so-called white supremacists of the 1800s or the 1700s were actually colored? I'm just saying. No one told you that, because it doesn't have to do with your race or your color. It has to do with who you are. No one told you that part. We rarely talk about so-called white slavery, and if you bring it up, then so-called black folk gonna get mad and say, why you talking about that when we had enough slavery and paying for everybody? But it's not about that. It's about looking at the bigger picture and making sure it doesn't happen again. But no, a lot of people just can't get out of their feelings, like I said, because they refuse to do the work. And what's going to happen is just going to all topple over on everybody's head in the first place. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to just topple out on all of us as so-called Americans. Whether you're the origines, those who have been grafted in over time. But you know who will benefit? The newcomers, the babes, the new baby line, or the new babies that have come in, the last people from the last so-called flood, right? That's why it's really even not about the outer. It's about this. It's about the inside. It's about that. It's about the man in the mirror. There's so much more in here I want to talk about, but I feel like I just targeted and hit what I just was just trying to portray. At the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Because even you remember like the story of the Appalachie and what did we did that video on the Hydra something here, okay? And after they used those particular people, they ended up poor and in the mountains. And some of these people, again, like it was the Outsiders I used to watch or something like that. I can't remember, they lived on that mountain. You know, some people chose that lifestyle and can handle it. But I'm just saying, you just realize that as people came in to do a dirty deed, they ended up on their knees, no matter what color. I've talked to German people and all Russians and everybody that have stories of being mistreated by certain people when they came here. So-called Jews, but they emphasize on the so-called black people to keep you traumatized in a sense. The only ones that, and when we look in our community, the ones that are actually waking up and rising up are the third generation of those that were grafted in. The true source and light is coming from the earth, the indigenous or the origines. And the ties between those lineages and that bloodlines and things like that is what, again, goes out and flourishes or, you know, becomes the next. But it's about breeding again. The earth with the earth was first. So who's coming in large numbers? First. Hispanics were so-called, or Mexicans and South Americans were trickling into the nation. The flood represents a huge, and it's nothing against the people personally. Actually, we should be talking to the people that's allowing it. If we can't feed the nation and people are hungry, the last thing you would do was bring in hundreds of thousands of other people from other places that's hungry as hell too. Just a thought. So, and again, I don't really, you know, it's facts over feelings here, so I don't really, you know, necessarily want to always be tripping myself up to try to make somebody feel better about something, and I don't apologize for things that I did not do or was not wrong, and it's just, you know, that's why I try to just monitor and try to pay attention to what I'm saying before I even say it. Because most of the time we wind up being people that should be apologizing to you that wants you to apologize for something. So yeah, I think it's the stand, y'all. I'm sorry, I've been eating this granola for like 2 days. Y'all know the one from Sam's Club. It's been a long time since I had it, so yeah. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. Again, I hope you guys gained something from the information. If you'd like to add or comment, you can do so down below, or join us in the Facebook group American Aborigines Unchained for more information like this from me and others. Or, and it's not necessarily like this. This is just about the whole journey, whatever, you know what I'm saying, what that would entail. There's biblical, there's historical, there's, you know, we don't talk really much about, you know, conspiracies there anymore that much. We just really just transfer information that's been found. It's like a show and tell. All right? So again, see you guys later. Take care.